And welcome back to another episode of Just Say Guay. I'm joined for a second time with Providence College men's ice hockey coach, Nate Leaman. Coach, welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so obviously this is a big, exciting season coming up. You start on Saturday against Maine. What do you think are your biggest strengths going into this season?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if we have one specific strength. Coming into the season, I thought it would be our defensive core. In which that's what I think it will be by the end of the season, but I think we need to continue to develop that a little bit. And I think our strength will be our youth, our energy, and we hope it ends up being our execution.
Yeah, that'll be good. Actually, Gabe said that in the last interview I had. He said the execution is the biggest thing for this team. So coming into the season, you guys are projected third in Hockey East. Do you guys really pay attention to that? Because especially last year, how UMass really surprised everyone.
Yeah, no, we don't pay attention to that at all. That's what, media does, and that's what people do to hype up the hockey season. They do preseason polls, and the games played on the ice. We got to make sure, again, that we're executing between the boards. That's what matters.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of familiar faces aren't here this year, especially the senior class. Something I really liked about them is that they all had different personalities, but they definitely made it work for sure. What things do you think will be missed about them the most?
Be missed about them? Well, I think they're scoring, up front, and also with Jacob. Jacob was excellent at breaking pucks out. So I think that'll be missed a little bit. The breakouts and the scoring up front. But it's opened the door for a lot of opportunity for a lot of guys to grow and to fill those new roles.
Okay, so obviously probably the most memorable thing about last season was the run you guys had at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, winning the regional. Something that happens with hockey and the NCAA tournament for the basketball is that there's about 10 days in between the Final Four, Frozen Four, and the last games that you guys played. Do you wish that there was it was the next weekend, or do you ever think that it's good to have the rest?
Well, because it was in Buffalo, it would have been great if it was the next weekend. They have the separation there to try to get the fans, give them time to travel when your team makes it that far. So that's the big reason when they used to have it, the regional end and then the next weekend the national championship. It was so hard for the teams to try to coordinate their travel and all their fans' travel because you just get drilled at that time of the year from all angles about. People needing tickets and families needing tickets and in their travel. It's just too much. So, really, I just wish that we had a little more moxie in that game against Duluth. I think we had a pretty good start. I think we took a penalty and it put us on our heels. They scored. We countered back and scored, and I thought we were really starting to come, and then we got the 5-on-3, and we didn't score on the 5-on-3, and that was the game. But I just thought our ozone play could have been a little bit better in that game.
Yeah, it was definitely a game that was good to watch. I wish I was there. I think going to Buffalo is a bit more difficult than like it was for you guys in Boston.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, there's a lot of familiar faces that aren't here. I was here the year after the Gilmore class with Tanev, Jankowski, those guys all left. Do you see that kind of a similar way here, how there's new faces coming in?
This will be the third time we've had a big freshman class. And the first time they won a national championship, the second time, they played in the Frozen Four last year. And now this group will see. I love the character of this class. I love the character. I love the work. I like the leadership. There's a lot of really good leaders in this class. I think they have the potential to be very good also. You can see where a lot of guys can grow and move into their roles within this class.
Yeah, so obviously last year when the Frozen Four ended for you guys, Jacob Rice and Josh Wilkins and Brendan Duham, they quickly made the jump to make the decision to go pro. Casper took probably a bit longer. He was probably late May. I always wondered, what is the situation like for you as a coach during that time?
Well, you're just trying to help them as far as make decisions. They ask you a lot of questions, and the longer I've been around, they're asking more and more questions about being informed, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to help them make the right decisions for them individually. I mean, you always have a component where you'd love them to stay, but at the end of the day, you have to help them. So if they ask you questions, you got to answer them honestly, and and that's what you try to do. And we try to educate the guys throughout the year of show them the training camp size, show them the number of guys that are on one-way deals that make the NHL. Because they all go in on two-way deals, so meaning that they can get sent down very easily, and you just try to help them, you try to educate them because you want to see them make it, and you want to help them get the best chances of making it, and they have to be critical thinkers at that stage. It's so easy for them to get caught up in their dream of someone saying, "Hey, we think you can make it, we think you can make it, we think you can make it," and then they make 3 additions ahead of that player over the summer. And as a coach, you can see that stuff coming because you know what's going on. But as a young kid, they don't always see that stuff. So you just try to help them be critical thinkers a little bit so they can think through a situation and they don't regret their decision a year from now.
Yeah, especially since there's a lot of guys that make those teams that didn't come from the NCAA that can tell if you're ahead of them, behind them. So the only one coming back this year, top 5 in points, is Jack Dugan. There's still a lot of great offensive threats like Vimo Sukumaran, Tice Thompson, Greg Prince. Who else do you think you can see that can help step up and fill those points?
Well, I mean, I think Parker Ford and Patrick Moynihan are 2 freshmen. I think that can step up and chip in. We certainly hope they do because they're in prominent roles. We need Matt Koopman to step up. And Jason O'Neill is another one. Jason has a very good release on his shot, and we need him to step up.
Yeah, so this year is a little bit different. You have 4 goalies on the roster, all that are very talented. Do you think it's good for them that they can push each other in practice to become better? I mean, do you see a quarterback competition in a way?
Well, I mean, we hope so. I mean, we hope that between the 4 of them, that one of them's going to give us a 925, 930 save percentage, as a team throughout the year. So, we certainly hope so. I mean, the competition sometimes it really pushes guys. Sometimes guys crumble, So, some guys are better off knowing they're just the guy. But it's been a good competition. I think one guy's starting to emerge a little bit, which helps us. As a coaching staff also, and certainly we're going to be tested and have to make saves early in the year here.
Yeah, it's good you got 4 of them. They could definitely, all of them could make those saves. So like you said, that the character of this freshman class is something that sticks out. For people that aren't involved with the hockey team, the only thing we really know is that Max Crozier was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mm-hmm. What else can we expect from them besides great character?
Max?
Him and others.
Well, I think Max is a gamer. I think he's got a lot of the it factor in him, as far as that, when the game's on the line or you need a big play, he comes up with it. He had a great season last year. He led all the playoffs in scoring as a defenseman. His offense isn't rush offense. It's a little different. It's more offensive blue line. It's more power play. It's more making the right play at the right time. He's kind of got a knack for that. He's still adjusting to the speed, and I think he will. But I think Max is, I think the world of him. I think he's going to be a really good player down the road.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited. So also, how special is it to see so many alumni from this program succeeding? It said this morning, I saw in a tweet that 6 guys are going to play tonight for NHL rosters. Next year it could maybe be 10. You just never know with how successful these guys can be. Do you tune into those games? Like if it's ever, say, the Devils versus the Penguins, or you see Rooney and Tanev, do you ever tune into those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're fun. And I'm usually, texting the guys after the game, and I stay in touch with all of them. It's great. I just think there should be more.
Yeah.
And I hope there's more. I think of this class that just those 4 guys that signed early, I think they all have a shot. I think Vinny Desharnais's got a shot. I think that there's Jake Wallman still out there. I think he's got a good shot. I'd like to see as many as possible make it. Not only for the program but for those guys. Because I know they're all good players. Brian Peno is another one. He had a terrific training camp with Washington. And,
he led in the prospect campaign in points. I was following it.
Yeah. I'm hopeful he gets at least a game this year or a crack.
Yeah. So I always throw a question in at the end. I know you don't really have a lot to say in this subject, but California just recently passed a law in which student athletes might be able to get paid in the future. What are your thoughts on that going forward? It's such a touchy subject.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject. I mean, I'm against it, but just because I think what people don't realize is what the athletes actually have. When you choose to play in the NCAA, you're making a choice that, I'll go to college and play on this team, and they will pay for my education. And you're making a choice that you want an education. Mm-hmm. And I think that's getting lost in all this discussion. Is that I had breakfast with Bob Driscoll this morning, and we're going to put together exactly what a student athlete gets at this school. So not only the $67,000 for room, board, and books. They get all the meals on the road. They get a strength coach. They get team doctors. They get team trainers.
Apparel too.
And the amount of money that's spent on an individual athlete, over their 4 years is well over $500,000.
Yeah.
So, it's that stuff gets lost, and that's a little frustrating. That part of it is getting lost.
I think the biggest sports where it's happening, the voices are probably basketball and football.
Yeah.
I think football, especially because they're there so long, and I think Alabama football makes more than 40 different pro teams, and they're not getting much of it. But I definitely see your point coming from.
Yeah. I mean, and all that's good. I understand that, but they're also getting a free education. And you hope that's why they chose that route, to get a free education. If not, go pro right away. With the football players, I have no problem with them. Getting a percentage of every jersey that's sold with their last name on it, and them getting that that money after they graduate. I don't have a problem with that. I agree with that part of it whatsoever. Them getting paid, then we're turning into pro sports, and that's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess
especially at schools like Duke, where you already get a free education at a school like that as it is.
Well, what the unintended consequences that I see happening are athletic programs or departments aren't going to be able to afford as many sports. So more and more sports are going to get cut. So they're going to be less and less athletes, because they're going to say, well, I mean, we have to pay our football and our basketball team. We can't have crew. We can't have tennis. We can't have some of these other golf. We can't have those sports.
Too.
Yeah, and then so who loses? The student athletes actually lose, and so that's something that I see as an unintended consequence, because it's the Alabamas of the world, and I think they're going to be fine. It's all the other programs out there. You see how much UConn and UMass struggle just having football teams, and how much money they lose, and URI and how much money they lose. Imagine they got to try to play those players now to keep up.
Yeah.
They're going to be, I don't see their.
I always thought they should have a hockey team, because they're so close.
Yeah, they should.
If they can make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends that go there. They say football, no one really invests in it. But
well, it's tough to have football in New England. You
Yeah.
know? It's tough to have football in New England, and that's why I think hockey in New England, on the other hand, seems to thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck against Maine on Saturday. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Thanks for another episode. We'll see you next time.